Well, we're back here once again, only on its After Hours, only on the After Hours YouTube channel. And gracing us here on our show, we are very delighted to have one of the top. You can call her a MILF, but that's just an insult. She's too young for that here. I give you a sexy blonde, busty bombshell. I'm honored to have Lory Lace on the show. Lory, let's start off here with hugely last year, a lot of top companies are shooting with you. Team Skeet. I heard Brazzers, I heard Naughty America's on the radar. Like, how nice is that having momentum where it's like, okay, the companies are noticing you. They're all of a sudden now like you're one of those people that they're calling for like the big jobs.
It feels a little unreal and it can be a little overwhelming because they're like you said, they're big companies, and so it's a little intimidating, but it's exciting at the same time. And I'm kind of glad that I've had these opportunities and that my career is taking off a little bit.
You say overwhelming. So how so? Like, 'cause I've never heard that from other performers. So for you, like, what is it overwhelming? Is it just the
Um,
fact that it's right
just
there, or is it
it's just big shoes to fill because the type of people that they're constantly booking, they're big names, they're nothing to be playing with. And so it's just I don't know, it's just like, oh my god, I gotta make sure I'm up to par here.
so for you? How much work goes into that? Because everybody thinks it's easy. Oh, I'm a porn star. I'm gonna have sex. That's it. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm guessing for you, it's like no, no, no. There's dietitians. There's working out.
Oh
There's
yeah.
you get your hair and makeup. Like for you, like how much work do you put in to make sure that your body's in peak condition?
So, I mean, I am on a pretty strict regimen when it comes to what I eat, lots of fruits, vegetables. I drink a lot of water. I also have like a really, really active workout schedule. Um, but even on top of that, it's mentally keeping to these things, whether you're getting ready for a booking or not, because things can come up out of the blue, out of nowhere. So you kind of have to stay ready, but there's specific things like if you're doing certain acts or whatnot that you know you've been made privy to, then there's certain prep that you have to take in order to get ready for those types of scenes. And so it takes some discipline, it takes some planning, and it takes some um, active knowledge of your body and what you can and can't do.
How tough is it getting your body ready for that? Because let's face it, you're doing scenes where it's on a countertop, on a sofa. Sometimes let's do it on chairs, or my personal favorite. Hey, let's do it in the shower, where it's like, oh crap, I could just slip and fall and crack my head open. You guys are crazy. So for you, like, how tough is it? Like, you don't want to do yoga because you're trying to get your body in position, so you're not going, oh crap, I think I pulled a muscle. No, I pinched a nerve here somewhere. God damn it, I need cortisone injection, some drugs, heavy drugs, stat.
So at least for me, just lots of core and flexibility. But I'm lucky because I also teach aerial arts, so I kind of get my core and flexibility training through that. But at least for me, because that's kind of part of why I guess sometimes I'm booked is because of that. And so I try to keep up with that so it doesn't feel as hard when I'm done.
So what is aerial arts? Because I've never heard of it. And then how did you get your doctorate in it?
So I teach pole dance and I also teach aerial hoop, which is when they hang a thin metal hoop from a ceiling or beam vertically and you spin and do acrobatics on it.
So have you ever, like fallen or come close to
Oh
falling? Because that
yeah.
sounds painful.
Oh yeah, yeah. So when you do bigger things at large facilities, there's the advantage of safety nets and things like that. When you're in a smaller studio, you have crash mats and things like that, but the fall still felt. My most memorable one, at least to me, was because I fell both on my chin, my chest, and then my boob. So it was that fall was extra special. Um, but I was doing a trick on it from the very top, and so when I fell, I not only hit the bottom part of the hoop on my way down, but because of that, it flipped me the other way, and I landed totally flat onto my back. Luckily, I was on the mat, but I still felt the jolt of it and, up my neck and stuff. So yeah, sometimes things do happen. I had an instructor a couple of days fall on her own. Luckily, not from a very high height, but you still feel those.
So all this is going on. You're teaching aerial classes. You're doing shoots. You have your OnlyFans. You have your many vids here. Like, how do you find time to do all this? And how tough is it? Keeping up all with all of this? Because these are all like full-time jobs rolled into one. I mean, do you even sleep, or is just like coffee injections into the veins? Like, all right, I'm awake. I'm awake. I'm awake.
Definitely a coffee junkie for sure, but I it just takes a lot of discipline and a lot of scheduling. Like I'm normally pretty good. I have a couple of calendars that I keep, and I have help, so it's not too bad. But as long as I stay on top of these things, like there's times where I get lazy, and then when I come back, it's harder to keep track of my things. So I just rather avoid that, and I have a crazy schedule, but I'm pretty well disciplined in maintaining it so that I need to know where I need to be at.
Let's talk about the OnlyFans. What do you like shooting, and what do the fans like seeing you do? Because I'm guessing there's certain things you like, and there's certain things fans like. So how do you find that happy medium, and how do you find time to shoot stuff that you just like doing because it's your baby, it's your fun, it's what you love doing?
Um, Luckily, I think the way that I gained traction was that I have a natural love for gangbangs, and that's kind of when I started putting out that stuff. I kind of saw the spike in growth and noticed. So that's luckily kind of one of my biggest things. And on top of it, I'm lucky because it's actually one of my favorite things to do. So I'm pretty lucky in that sense. It's not too bad finding a balance between what my fans like and what I like because they know that I like gangbangs.
So how do you do that? Because it sounds easy when you say that, but then it's like you have too many guys. They all want to basically get their rocks wet. You're trying to basically make people happy. Like, and it's a bitch probably to trying to get everybody on camera. So how do you do that? Like, how tough is that to shoot when it's like, oh crap, we have X amount of people, small little room, and I got to try to get everybody all this action in here. How long did it take you to like master shooting all of this stuff?
So, I mean, experience teaches like no other, right? So, uh, having done these just for fun prior to being like an on camera thing that I have fans now that watch, you kind of learn what helps and what doesn't. And so, like, thinking about filming combined into that kind of helped us prep for what we should do. I mean, we usually, like you said, crammed in a smaller room, we usually have a large enough space. The last one that I had actually 2 or 3 people filming. 2 were solidly filming and there for that purpose only. And then I had a couple of the guys who were participating would kind of take over every once in a while, just so we had kind of different points of view and stuff like that. So it's more it takes a lot of planning, definitely, but as long as you keep communicating, usually I just ask people that I've worked with, I kind of start there. And if people that I've worked with previously, because that's easy, we all know what we do and don't do and whatnot. Once I start there, and then if they have any suggestions like, hey, do you know anybody who'd be interested or wants to join this type of thing? Then that kind of helps me find someone new to bring in, but at least it's someone who's familial. And so as long as we're all checking tests and everything like that, everything goes pretty smooth.
Now you're happily married. You,
Yes.
how do you guys find time to balance all this? Because he works also, and he's very successful. You're very successful. How do you find time to balance it? What and you guys have like your own stuff that you don't do on camera just because it's like
Oh
yours. So
yeah.
you know it's like, all right, this is special.
Yeah. So definitely a lot of communication, lots and lots of communication. There's a strict discipline like with the scheduling stuff also between us together, so we're constantly checking with one another. Also, most of the time when someone wants to work with me, um, I kind of direct them to him because he's pretty good at screening because he has my best interest in mind. Um, and so he takes care of a lot of the scheduling. And so he'll tell me, hey, I noticed that there's this blank spot on the calendar. How about this day at this time? And then from there, I'll double check and look. And I'm like, okay, yes, we're doing, let's book it. Or I'll tell him, oh no, but we might do this that day. Don't do that day. And he also is aware of where I'm at in regards to like my teaching schedule and my work schedule. And so when we're booking things, it makes it easier to transfer that task to him because he knows where I'm going to be at.
For you, what's on the bucket list for this year? Because as you said, you have four jobs. You are a content creator, you're an aerials specialist, you're a adult performer, you're also a wife. So what's on the bucket list for this year in terms of like things you want to do? It could be porn related, it could be non-porn related. Like what do you want to do this year?
I would be excited if we resumed traveling for the purpose of pure fun and not work. Lots of times, most of the time, actually, we end up traveling to these cool places, but we don't get to do a lot of stuff while we're there because we're booked or we're scheduling collaborations with other people and things like that. So a lot of times we just see these awesome places in passing. And so this year I would really like if we traveled, like it's a small bucket list, but there's a couple places that I'd like to go for the purpose of just going there and not so much getting some work in.
So what are the places? Like give me some places you've been like, I want to go here, I want to go here because you just want to go there for years.
So there's a small island off the east coast of close to southern parts of Mexico that I would like to visit. They call it the Mexican Maldives. Um, and so there's a spot I'd like to visit just for the sole purpose of just going there. Um, there's a couple of places that are meant for very specialized aerial training that I'd like to go to that are, in different parts of the world. Like there's a place in Mexico, there's a place in France. So one of my goals is to get to go to one or a couple of these places to get some training in just for my own personal growth. A lot of times you spend so much time getting students at a higher level that you kind of tend to forget to challenge yourself and you don't grow as fast or as well. And so I kind of want to keep up on that because that's kind of there's things that you do that you love, that type of stuff I absolutely love, so I want to keep up on it. And it's a competitive sport.
So have you ever thought about doing that as a sport? I mean, have you ever thought about taking a year off from porn, going, I want to just do this as a sport. I want to become a pure professional athlete.
Well, luckily because that particular sport is still growing. I mean, pole dancing is still not fully accepted either. So those types of things are still kind of looked at. Contortion, things like that are still kind of looked at as taboo, even though they're highly physical things that take discipline and take a lot of training and dieting and things like that. And so there's not as much opportunities to compete or perform. So that's why the people that are really good, you see those names often. And um, that's kind of, it also makes it hard because you train with one another. And so a lot of times these opportunities are few and far between. I think my next competition is like in July in Florida, potentially. So we'll see what that shapes up to look like.
Have you ever thought about doing Circus Soleil? Because you do everything else. You do the
We
pole dancing, you do that, do the aerial teaching. Have you ever thought about, hey, I want to try the Cirque du Soleil stuff because I can do it. I'm athletic enough, I'm good looking enough, and I'm ballsy enough.
um like our studio or place has had opportunities like that. But these are people who get hired that usually have like some sort of Olympic medal and some sort of gymnastic, specialty. But we have had opportunities like that. We recently had one come up for auditions for like being an aerial performer at EDC. There's times when some of these gals get booked for private events, private parties, things like that. There's also aerial bartending, which looks really cool when you get that at a party and it's, a girl in a hoop serving champagne or whatnot. And it just looks real cool. And you get some opportunities like that. A lot of pole dancers are getting hired for concerts now and things like that. So it's kind of cool to see it spread in little ways.
Before we let you go, give me some people that you call friends because this is a tough industry. There's, everybody's competitive. There's a lot of people, I'm guessing, even compete against you or are caddy against you because hey, you're now the hot new thing. You're this tall, blonde, busty performer who's now on Team Ski, Brazzers, Naughty America's List. Like, who are the people you look and go, no matter what, I trust them as friends because they have my best interest. They have my back.
So because I'm still new, it's not like I have, what I consider friends. To me, that term who's knows me very, very well. And definitely, while I have a lot of acquaintances and people that I'm comfortable working with without question, still my best friend who I know has my best interest in mind always, whether it comes to performances or not, still my husband, still Kyle.
Oh, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I give the beautiful, the talented, the ballsy, the very the risk-taking adventurer. I give you Lory Lace. Lory, before I let you go, where can fans check you out at? Where is the Twitter page, Instagram, the OnlyFans, the many vids? Where can fans hit you up at?
Nice and simple. My name is still Lory Lace, pretty much on everything, OnlyFans, mini vids, all that stuff. I'm a little bit harder to find on Instagram, but if you find me there, it's open to everybody for me to follow. It's not private or anything like that. But yeah, Twitter, Lory Lace, OnlyFans, Lory Lace, many vids, Lory Lace.
Lory Lace, ladies and gentlemen, once again, always an honor, pleasure. Have you on the show. We come back. A lot more going on here, only on its After Hours, only on the After Hours YouTube channel.